2017 Mazda CX5 with the notorious P0192 code. Now, while this is a Mazda vehicle, this code is very common for any vehicle with direct port injection. So we're going to go ahead and go over the causes for this and how to replace it. The high pressure fuel pump is typically the notorious cause of this issue. Your high pressure fuel pump is typically located on top of the engine under the engine cover, regardless of the make of the vehicle. Here is the high pressure fuel pump. Sometimes it'll be located on here and it's driven directly off of the camshaft. Ours appears to be driven off of an extension for the fuel lobe down here. And as a mechanic, obviously, I'm going to tell you that you should take your vehicle to a shop and have it properly diagnosed. We've already diagnosed this as our issue for this vehicle, and so we're going to go ahead and replace it. And I figured, why not cover the specifics while we do it? Because this is such a common problem for any direct port injection engine, these typically fail around 100 to 150,000 miles. So almost every vehicle in its lifetime will need a replacement. Here is our new high pressure fuel pump, and they are all basically the same. Some have more attributes connected to them than others, but this one is pretty basic and pretty standard. We have our control unit. This is where your wiring harness connects into it. This is your refuel line for fuel that has not been spent. And down here, we have our screw-in plug for our high pressure fuel line adaptation. Now, what you want to do, because this is a high pressure fuel system, is go ahead and remove your fuel pump fuse or relay, whichever one is more easily accessible for your vehicle, and then turn your vehicle on until it dies by itself because the fuel has been cut off. That's going to relieve the pressure inside of these lines. With that done, we can go ahead and start removing, starting with the connector up top. Go ahead and pull that out. It's got a harness clamp right here, which you have to pinch on the back to get off. And we can move this out of the way and secure it in a safer area where it won't be broken by anything. We got our return line right here. Go ahead and grab a small screwdriver to remove this locking portion. That green clip. And then we can gently wiggle this up, allowing the leftover fuel to come out. I'm going to go ahead and remove this hose stay, so that way we can disconnect these hoses and actually move them out of the way. Be careful with these lines though. They are not rubber, even though they look and feel like it. They are nylon, and they will snap very easily because they enjoy building cheap cars, I guess. I don't really have a reason for that. It's outside of my pay grade. Remove this hose just because it'll be easier to get a wrench down in here for that high pressure fuel line that connects down at the bottom. Wiggle this around to loosen the hose, being careful of the plastic. And you're just really gonna fight for nothing. There we go, and then we can remove both of these hoses out of the way, giving us enough room to get a wrench down there. And down here at the bottom is our high pressure line. You can see that giant nut right here. That's what we're going to be putting our wrench on. And for this vehicle, it is a 19. Of course, my phone wants to ring. Finally get a bite on it. Go ahead and break it loose. And honestly, these aren't really on too tight. Once you get it broken loose, you should be able to unscrew it fairly easily. This isn't a difficult job, but I've definitely done easier ones, especially on the Volkswagens. They well, I guess not all Volkswagens, but like the 2 liters, from some of the older models. They had them like right up top, and it was really convenient. And with that, I think we only have these 2 torque bolts to remove. Where's the other one? There it is. So we're going to need to remove this hose. Just get off. And I'll lift that up over that. And if you look right where that clamp was, you can see that we now have clear access to that other torque bolt. And for this Mazda, the bolts are T45. And for this, I'm going to use a swivel head extension, so that way it gives me about 5 to 10 degrees of angle adjustment for that bottom bolt, because that might be a little bit more tricky. First bolt. This thing just does not want to line up over there. Come on. Thank you. And second bolt. I might just be able to bend this metal out of the way and then bend it back. Oh, there it goes. And here's the old high pressure fuel pump. And for most vehicles, you will have, I don't really know what to call this, but this is a thimble, and it basically rides on the camshaft right here. Make sure you inspect these and that they're still in good condition. There's no flat spots on your roller right here, and that it doesn't feel like it's binding up or anything like that. As long as it looks good, feel free to reuse it. I know the Volkswagens, if you're doing one of these on a Volkswagen, they almost always recommend replacing it. And some of the high pressure fuel pump kits actually come with replacement thimbles on them. I'm just calling it a thimble because it looks like a thimble. It's not actually a thimble. I'm not really too sure. It's like a camshaft roller or follower. Depending on what type of vehicle you're working on, the name could be different. So I always just call it a thimble because it looks like a thimble. Anyway, go ahead and line up our new high pressure fuel pump, especially with the lower fuel line down there. Tight. I also forgot to mention there's an O-ring on the fuel pumps. Make sure that this O-ring or that your new high pressure fuel pump has a new O-ring on it, because sometimes they can fall off in the box and things like that. I went ahead and removed the return line. This is a 17 millimeter. I went ahead and removed the return line spout, I guess I'll call that, in order to give me more access to this lower line, because while it came off fairly easily, it definitely does not want to go on very easily. I'm not too sure what the deal is with that. It seems to be doing better now that I've done all the extra work, but before, I did not care about my feelings at all. that down nice and tight. Go ahead and reinstall our return line. Go ahead and start returning our lines. I want to make sure that with this all plugged in, that our return line is in the right location so we don't put stress on the nylon hose. So with this clip down into its place, that's where it should be. Go ahead and put this bolt down tight. Make sure you give some extra oomph into that because they have the crush washers on there, and those do need to be crushed to properly seal the return line. Pop that back in place. Flathead screwdriver. Bend this metal plate back up. That worked extremely well for making that to be an easier job. And of course, if you're not comfortable doing that, just remove the two 10mm bolts. They're just kind of difficult to get to, and I don't want to waste all day playing around with this. Go ahead and get our connectors back up here. Plug them back in. Reconnect our hose. Lock down tight, lock down tight, lock down tight. Connectors are in. And that's what it was. I'm gonna put this hose clamp back on. No, I was forgetting something. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Clear your codes, take it for a test drive, and if your diagnostics was done properly, that should take care of your issue, as long as the high pressure fuel pump was your issue, obviously. And if you own a direct port injection engine and you'd like to learn a little bit more about them, and especially the maintenance required to keep them running healthy, check out that video next. I made that one just for you. But other than that, if this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. See y'all next time.